Talk 286. Devotee. Why can we not remain in Sushupti as long as we like and be also voluntarily in it just as we are in the waking state? Maharashi. Sushupti continues in this state also. We are ever in Sushupti, that should be consciously gone into and realized in this very state. There is no real going into or coming from it. Becoming aware of that is samadhi. An ignorant man cannot remain long in sushupti because he is forced by nature to emerge from it. His ego is not dead and it will rise up again. But the wise man attempts to crush it in its source. It rises up again and again for him to impelled by nature, that is prarabdha. That is both in jnani and ajnani. Ego is sprouting forth, but with this difference, namely the ajnani's ego, when it rises up, is quite ignorant of its source, or he is not aware of his sushupti in the dream and jagrata states, whereas ajnani, when his ego rises up, enjoys his transcendental experience with this ego keeping his lakshya aim always on its source. This ego is not dangerous. It is like the skeleton of a burnt rope. In this form, it is ineffective. By constantly keeping our aim on our source, our ego is dissolved in its source, like a doll of salt in the ocean. Devotee. Sri Ramakrishna says that Nirvikalp Samadhi cannot last longer than 21 days. If persisted in, the person dies. Is it so, Maharashi? When the prarabdha is exhausted, the ego is completely dissolved without leaving any trace behind. This is final liberation. Unless prarabdha is completely exhausted, the ego will be rising up in its pure form even in Jivan Muktas. I still doubt the statement of the maximum duration of 21 days. It is said that people cannot live if they fast 30 or 40 days, but there are those who have fasted longer, say 100 days. It means that there is still prarabdha for them. Devotee, how is realization made possible? Maharishi, there is the absolute self from which a spark proceeds as from fire. The spark is called the ego. In the case of an ignorant man, it identifies itself with an object simultaneously with its rise. It cannot remain independent of such association with objects. This association is ajnan or ignorance, whose destruction is the objective of our efforts. If its objectifying tendency is killed, it remains pure and also merges into the source. The wrong identification with the body is dehatamabhuti. I am the body idea. This must go before good results follow. Devotee. How to eradicate it? Maharishi. We exist in Sushupti without being associated with the body and mind. But in the other two states, we are associated with them. If one with the body, how can we exist without the body in Sushupti? We can separate ourselves from that which is external to us and not from that which is one with us. Hence, the ego is not one with the body. This must be realized in the waking state. Avastatraya, the three states of waking, dream, and deep sleep, should be studied only for gaining this outlook. The ego in its purity is experienced in intervals between two states or two thoughts. Ego is like the caterpillar which leaves its hold only after catching another. Its true nature can be found when it is out of contact with objects or thoughts. Realize the interval with the conviction gained by the study of Avastatraya, the three states of consciousness. Devotee. How do we go to sleep and how do we wake up? Maharishi. Just at nightfall, the hen clucks and the chicks go and hide themselves under her wings. The hen then goes to roost in the nest with the chicks in her protection. At dawn, the chicks come out and so does the hen. The mother hen stands for the ego which collects all the thoughts and goes to sleep. At sunrise, the day rays emerge forth and are collected again at sunset. Similarly, when the ego displays itself, it does so with all its paraphernalia. When it sinks, everything disappears with it. Devotee. What does Sushupti look like? Maharishi. In a cloudy dark night, no individual identification of objects is possible and there is only dense darkness. Although the seer has his eyes wide open, similarly in Sushupti, the seer is aware of simple signs. So Bhagwan is said to have remarked to an inquisitive person, "What is the meaning of this talk of truth and falsehood in the world, which is itself false?"